Today, we're talking about something that almost every homeschooling parent experiences, but not many people warn you about beforehand: the criticisms that you will get. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Kate Education. I'm Kate, an education and homeschooling consultant, here to support you on your education journey, one step at a time. If you're thinking about homeschooling or you've just started, you may already have had that conversation. A raised eyebrow, a long pause, oh, really? And if you haven't yet, you probably will. So I thought it would be helpful to walk through some of the most common criticisms of homeschooling that you're likely to hear and how to respond without feeling defensive or flustered or full of self-doubt. Because here's the thing, the comments can catch you off guard, especially in the early days. But what about socialization? Let's start with the big one, the classic. What about socialization? There's this lingering idea that homeschooled children will grow up awkward, shy, or somehow socially behind. And I think this fear runs deeply because school has become so synonymous with childhood in many cultures. But socialization doesn't only happen in the classroom. In fact, classroom socialization is actually quite narrow. It's the same age group, the same room, the same routine, the same 30 children. And I can tell you as a teacher myself, you have a lot of content and curriculum to get through. You want children to cooperate and work together, but you don't want children actively socializing during lesson time. Homeschooling can look very different. You can take your pick of clubs, sports, drama classes, music lessons, cooperatives, community groups, volunteering opportunities, and simply time spent in the real world. Homeschooled children often interact with people of all ages and not just those born within the same 12-month window. And let's be honest, sitting next to someone in a maths class doesn't automatically build your social confidence. Real social skills, they come from conversations, from navigating different personalities, resolving disagreements, speaking to adults, helping out a younger child. So when someone says, but what about socialization? You can gently reply, we're really intentional about social opportunities, and actually, it's something we found to be a strength. And then move on. You don't need to launch into a TED Talk. Are you qualified to teach them? This one can feel a bit more personal because what people are really asking is, are you capable? Are you educated enough? And that can hit right at the heart of your confidence. But here's what you need to remember. You are not trying to recreate school at home. You're not trying to become a one-person institution. Homeschooling allows for something that schools can't offer: individual, one-to-one attention. If your child doesn't understand something, you slow down. If they're fascinated by volcanoes, you can dive in deep. If they need to take a break, you take one. And that flexibility, it's really powerful. And education isn't about standing at the front of the room delivering information from a lesson. It's about nurturing understanding. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be willing to learn alongside your child, to find the resources that you need, ask questions, and stay curious. That's education. Aren't they missing out? This one is usually said with a slightly sad tone. And it's okay to acknowledge this one because honestly, yes, they won't have some of the traditional school experiences like school trips, sports days, proms, but they will have different experiences. And different doesn't mean that they're deprived. Instead of one annual school trip, they might have multiple midweek museum or art gallery visits. Instead of a packed timetable shuffling from class to class, they might spend long afternoons exploring a single interest. Instead of rushing out the door every morning, they might have a slower, more connected start to the day. Every educational path involves trade-offs, even school. The question isn't what they're missing out on, it's what can they be gaining? Is that even allowed? Depending on where you live, someone might genuinely ask this question, and often it isn't criticism, it's just a lack of awareness. So a simple, calm response works best for this. Yes, it's completely legal, and we're following the guidance. That's it. No need to over-explain that one. Let's talk about criticisms coming from family, because this is one of the hardest parts. When criticism comes from strangers or off the internet, it's easy to brush off. But when it comes from your parents, your in-laws, your close friends, it can feel heavy. So here is something important. Most people ask because they're coming from a place of care. They ask because they're worried about your child's future. They ask because they're worried about going to university. They ask because they're worried about you burning out, even if it doesn't sound caring in the moment. Just remember, you don't have to convince everyone and you don't have to justify every single detail. Sometimes it's enough to say, this is working well for us right now. And sometimes it helps to simply let them see it over time, because actions and results speak louder than words. And when they see your child is happy, is engaged, is progressing, then the volume of the criticism often softens. A final thought. Schooling is still considered the default in many societies, and anything outside of the norm can make people feel uncomfortable. But education isn't one size fits all, not at school, not at home. Choosing homeschooling doesn't make you reckless or extreme, it makes you intentional. And yes, you will hear criticisms, but you will also experience growth, connection, flexibility, and plenty of moments where you think, this feels right. And for those moments, they matter much more than a raised eyebrow. So take it one step at a time and trust yourself. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I'd also love to hear how you might tackle some of the criticisms, or we can talk about different criticisms you've experienced. So let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.